This video is to show you how to do the online lab PhET simulation for the greenhouse effect. This is a Schoology page. You can find the assignment either on the right-hand side here or in the global climate unit. At the bottom, you can see lab PhET greenhouse effect. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. That should open up the assignment. I'm going to open up the Google Doc to get started. And so this is the assignment on which you will write your answers. There is a link to the simulation here, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that as well. And that brings you to the PhET interactive simulation for the greenhouse effect. First thing to do is to go ahead and click on the play button, and that will take you right to the simulation. And we're going to look at the waves and photons today. So we start with the wave model. And I'm going to go ahead and mute my computer here because there's music that goes along with this. When I start the sunlight, you'll observe we have yellow waves coming in. If we look at the key up here, we can see that those represent sunlight. We can show the surface temperature in the lower left-hand corner. By clicking on that, you can see the color showing the surface temperature. We don't need that today. Temperature is shown in the lower left. There's a little caret here to select to see if you want Fahrenheit, Celsius, or Kelvins. And the default is Celsius, but you will use Fahrenheit later on in the assignment. Energy balance shows the energy coming in and the energy going out, and then the net would be the difference between them, so it's balanced right now. You can add a cloud. I would like you to observe what's occurring when the sunlight hits clouds. We can take that cloud away and add it. And you can add greenhouse gas concentration. You can increase it and observe how that changes things. And you can go to none and observe how that changes things. So going back to the assignment, it says the first directions just get you into it and have you start the sunlight. Then the questions, what do the yellow waves represent and the red waves? Get that from the key. Then it has you click on that energy balance option. And here's a multiple choice. You can either circle or highlight that on your assignment to highlight the correct answer. Then describe what happens to the sunlight when it hits the ground and what happens to the sun when it hits a cloud, and then the second one is for the ground. Then I have you slide the greenhouse gas concentration slider on the right to lots and describe how that affects the infrared radiation and then what happens to the temperature. Then you're going to slide that greenhouse gas concentration slider to none and answer the same two questions. And now it's going to have you switch to another simulation. So let me show you how to do that. This is in the way for me. I'm going to move that to the side. So at the very bottom in the black area, you can see waves, photons, layer model. The next one we're going to look at is photons. And this is going to be similar to the Hasbot simulation that we've done in the class. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start Sunlight. And you can see the key up here that sunlight is shown as yellow photons. And you can see the red infrared coming out and interacting with the atmosphere, correct? And we know that sunlight does not interact with greenhouse gases, but infrared radiation does. We can look here to see the temperature. So I'm going to go back to the assignment. Now on this part, I'm going to have you click, first thing, describe the motion of the particles of sunlight and the motion of the particles of the infrared. And then you're going to click on the little calendar icon. The calendar icon is right here, and that gives you 4 different time periods. You have the Ice Age. You have the year 1750, the year 1950, and the year 2020. And for each of those, it tells you the concentration of carbon dioxide in parts per million, the concentration of methane, that's CH4, in parts per billion, and the concentration of nitrous oxide in parts per billion. And also you can look at the temperature, the average temperature at the time. There's Celsius, and then in Fahrenheit. Okay. You're going to use those functions to answer the chart. So for the Ice Age, the carbon dioxide concentration in parts per million, I just noticed a mistake, so I'm going to change it. It won't be changed on yours. This should be parts per billion of methane, and I'll check the nitrous oxide. But let's go back to the simulation. And this is for the Ice Age, I believe was the first one. 180 parts per million, 380 parts per billion, and nitrous oxide is 215 parts per billion. So if you want, change the ppm to ppb for methane and nitrous oxide. And then so you'll just fill in these. Then the temperature. Then go to 1750, fill in those numbers and the temperature, 1950 and 2020. Then I have you write in what it is today. So here's a link to the site that will give you the current carbon dioxide concentration in parts per million, and then answer 2 questions. And that's it. And you can submit that when you're done. If you have any questions, just let me know. Good luck, and go ahead and get started.